Hello everybody, Jamie here from FM Scout. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a little exploit on Football Manager 2020 that we've recently discovered. And I think it's quite bad, so I'm hoping SI does patch it. The only reason I'm doing this video is hopefully some people see it, maybe, I don't know. But it's not great, let's be honest. So, I mean, have you ever struggled to offload a player? So of course this video is called how to offload players who you can't sell. Now it happens to a lot of us on Football Manager. You know, you sign a player, let's use an example, you just get promoted to the Premier League. You have to overspend on players and give them higher wages so they'll join you because you're predicted to finish quite low, for example. So, you know, you do tend to overspend at some point in your save, and then when you eventually replace that player with someone, say, younger, and you try and sell them, but they just won't go because they're on too much money. And when you offer them out, even at a zero, you don't get any bids. Or you do get bids, but a club want you to pay £50,000 of their wages, as an example. So we have found a workaround regarding this, and it is quite bad, I'll be honest. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to give you a few examples. So we're going to start with Arsenal. We're also going to do a Championship team, a League 1 team, and a League 2 team. It's going to be a little bit of a long-winded episode, but I just want to show you exactly how it works. So let's use an example at Arsenal, shall we? So let's say, bear in mind, this doesn't work with all players. i.e., I've tried it with Ozil, it doesn't work. I've tried it with Lacazette, it doesn't work, but it does work for a lot of players. So I'm going to use this example as, let's just say, you've taken over Arsenal, and Mustafi, you know, is on £90,000 a week, which is, you know, a lot of money for a guy who's 2.5 star in the club. Not the best centre-back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to head over to PSG. So I'm going to go to Paris Saint-Germain. We're going to go to their under-19s. I'm going to go by value. So I'm going to bid for Romain Salard, okay? So he's on £60 a week, 26k. I'm going to make an offer. I'm going to leave that at 26k. The first thing you should do is, of course, right-click the player, offer him to clubs, let's just say unspecified, and for experiment purposes, let's just say nobody bids for him. So we're going to make sure it's transfer listed and is set to surplus to requirements, okay? So we're going to offer him out. So then I'm going to continue for a day, sorry. So continue, let him go on the transfer list. He might get a few bids, but of course, he has had a bid, of course, but you can see, this is a really good example, actually. You can see they want me to pay £23,000 of his wages for 10 million. Now, a lot of people will accept that, but then bear in mind, you know, you've got to pay £23,000 of his wages a week. So, you know, even though you're a big club, you've still got to kind of balance the books, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, let's just say no one bidded for him, as an example, because you will have players like that who you can't get rid of. So I'm just going to cancel that off for the time being. Then I'm going to go to Paris Saint-Germain. Let's go over to PSG. Let's go to the under-19 squad, and then let's go to filter it by value, so you've got the worst valued player at the bottom. I'm going to bid for this guy. I'm going to make it 26k. We'll leave it at that. I'm going to then go players to exchange, and I'm going to put in Mustafi. I'm going to suggest the terms. PSG are going to accept. Now, I think the reason they accept this is because Mustafi's got a really high value, and I'm swapping him for a player who's valued at 26k. So they're going to accept that all the time. I mean, you might get occasions where you might need to offer a little bit more money, which I'll show you in the next kind of league. So yeah, we're going to continue. So let's just decline that. So let's just go forward. So of course, Arsenal Salad accepted. So I'm going to offer this guy a contract. Let's negotiate. So he wants 1.7k. We're just going to say yes to that. So 1.7k. Okay, now we're just going to wait and go forward quite quickly until we see the message that he signs. Now, if it doesn't work, usually it will tell you Mustafi has snubbed them straight away, or Ozil have snubbed them, or whoever has snubbed them straight away. So to me, this one's going to work. So the reason for this, again, is because, you know, the way you do this is for the fact that, of course, you will save money on wages. And for the lower leagues, it's a big exploit, this. And you could literally send most of your older players or most of your players on stupid wages from Arsenal to PSG and ruin PSG. So there is a bad side of this, of course, depending on how you do it. But I'm just going to continue. I'm just going to see. It takes a while to obviously go through. Let me just press my keyboard. Okay, let's have a little look. There we go. So we have just signed Romain Salad for 29k. Okay. And the player exchanging is Mustafi. Now, of course, there's no point doing this if you can sell the player. This is mainly to offload players on big wages who don't get any offers. So I wouldn't suggest doing this if you can actually sell the player and make some money. But I think this is kind of a game changer for a lot of people who... One of the biggest bugbears on FM is trying to offload your players. And this exploit should not exist, in my opinion. I hope they patch it, but I just want to make you guys aware, and maybe SI will watch this video and see. So I'm going to accept that, of course. So I've just saved myself £90,000. Yes, I've got a really bad player from PSG, but he's only on £120 a week. And of course, Mustafi has now completely gone. So Mustafi, if I go over to Mustafi now, he is playing for PSG on £75,000 a week. So he's accepted a little wage drop to go to PSG, but the fact that PSG came calling for him, he ain't going to turn it down. So it does work, and yeah, I've essentially just opened up £90,000 in my wage budget. So, I mean, if you guys think this is a bad exploit, please, I can't really think of a worse exploit going forward that I've seen on FM, apart from the money trick, which I did back in FM15, which got patched pretty quickly once I did the video. So... But yeah, you can do it with most players. Like I've got rid of like 7 or 8 of these players just to free up some wages on a test offline. I did try Ozil. Not sure of the reason why Ozil wouldn't go, but I believe it's probably his wage. He probably wants more money than what he's currently on, which is a fact because they don't tend to give them more money. But I'm going to give you another example now in the Championship. Okay, we are the manager of Swansea now in the Championship, and of course you've got a player, Andre Ayew, who's on £80,000 a week at Swansea, which, you know, is ridiculous, right? For a championship, that for me, that is quite high. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously offer him out. He is wanted at the moment, so there is a potential that you could sell him. I'm just going to offer him out, and then we're going to see if we're just going to continue a day. So we've offered the player out. We're going to continue a day. Of course, we've had some bids for him. But you know, there's like 30k. I mean, you could sell him. This is just an example, by the way. Of course, everyone's players are different. This is an example of a player that you can't get rid of. So we're just going to ignore these and we're going to pretend that no one's bidded for him, okay? So we'll try and find another one in League One in a second. So they've sorted. So we've done that. Of course, someone comes in for loan and stuff like that. So for this England one, I'm going to go to Man City. Because I don't think, maybe, I haven't tried it, but maybe if we go to PSG as a club like Swansea, the players might not want to join. So I'm just going to go to a Man City. I'm going to go to the under-18s, and I'm going to filter it by value. I'm going to go for Odrua. I'm going to make an offer. I'm going to do it at 23k. Sometimes you might have to go a bit higher, but I'm going to exchange Ayew. And they accept. Okay, now let's see if Ayew actually leaves and joins Manchester City. So he wants to discuss personal matters because he wants to leave anyway. So he should really go. So I'm going to start negotiations. I'm just going to give this guy £400 a week. I want to accept that. I'm going to go forward. And we're going to see if he snubs. I'll try and show you the message what you get if he doesn't accept. So it's usually the day after as well. So it looks like Adrian Ayew is going to sign for Manchester City. Let's just show you. I'm just going to accept these a second. I don't know what these signings are. The squad's nappy, but we're not interested in that. But yeah, I'm going to show you one in League One just to show you, or League Two, just to show you kind of how broke it is. So I'm just going to decline this a second. And let's see if he actually comes through. Let's see what he goes for as well, because he is, of course, on £80,000 a week at Swansea, but let's see what he goes to at Manchester City. Now, like I say, we could have sold this guy for 10 million, but this episode is barely just to show you if no one is bidding for the players, which I'll try and go for like an older player in League One, just to give you kind of an example of the player who gets no bids. So it should come through in a second. Let's have a little look. It's an opportunity for me to kind of have a little talk about it while we're waiting. And yeah, but do let me know in the comments, like, if you think this is kind of the worst exploit you've seen on Football Manager, because personally I can't think of a worse one than this. Of course, we've got to wait for Ayew to kind of accept. We know the guy is going to accept for us, but we're just waiting for Ayew to kind of accept with Manchester City and accept their contract. But the minute, sometimes it does take a while, but of course most signings do. We are just, there we go. So you can see we're going to accept that. That's been accepted. So we've just signed a guy in the Championship, which is, you know, it's a very good league, and we've just replaced a guy on £80,000 a week with a guy on £120 a week. Now, I'm never going to use this guy. I could probably just release him now, and it's going to not cost me anything to release him in comparison to trying to release your guy on £80,000 a week. But of course, you can see there the exchange player. So Ayew is now a Manchester City player. So yeah, he's on the right wing for Man City, and he accepted £60,000 a week. I'm going to show you one more, and then we're going to leave it at that. Okay, we've taken over Sunderland here, and I found a really good example actually. So you've got Grant Ledbetter, who's 33, he's on £12,000 a week. I'm going to offer him out. I'm going to transfer list him. I'm also going to offer him out for 0. And let's just see if anyone actually bids for him, shall we? Just need to get rid of these press conferences and stuff. So you've seen the message right there. So this is a really good example here. So you can see it was difficult finding a suitable club that could accommodate Grant Ledbetter's wage demands. Now, this is a message you're going to see a lot when you're trying to offload players. So what we're going to try and do now is we're going to try and get Grant Ledbetter to sign for Manchester City. Now, I did try this in the test, and you do need to kind of offer a little bit more money. For example, let's go to value again. Let's go for James Trafford. So sometimes you might get... I'm going to offer 31k. I'm also going to player exchange Grant Ledbetter. And you'll see they will reject. Now, there is... I don't know why they reject, but I don't think... They may think Grant Ledbetter's not that good to play for them or something. So I'm still kind of testing the best ways to do this. So I'm going to just go for another one. Let's just go for Kieran Slicker, right? Okay, I'm going to offer like... Because how much would it cost you to release Grant Ledbetter? It would cost you over £100,000, right? So I'm just going to offer 100k. Because to me, if I lose 100... I've got 100k to spend. I've got £1 million in the bank of Sunderland. But I really could do with that £16,000 in wages. I could get 4 players with that money, you know? So I'm going to offer 100k. I'm going to also offer the player exchange of Grant Ledbetter. And I'm also going to offer a percentage of next sale at 50%. We'll just release the player anyway. And they still won't accept, okay? So let's try again. So we're going to make an offer. You have to play around with it a little bit, I guess. I mean, I did successfully manage to do it. I'm just going to offer like... let's just go to like 200 and make the offer. And let's see if they come back with that. They might negotiate. Let me just introduce myself to the squad. There we go. Sorted. So it does take a little bit of playing around with, but eventually you will kind of get to it. They will tell you, of course, if they don't want to do it, but there is options to it. Maybe, I haven't tried going to kind of a championship team, so maybe we'll go to like Swansea or something. We could try and do that, actually. This is kind of a test live. Well, it's not live, but yeah, I'm still kind of testing right now, so I might go a little bit quick. So let's go to the under-18s of Swansea. Let's go to a guy who's valued at £350. Surely they're going to accept, but it's whether Grant Ledbetter is going to accept Swansea. That's the problem, which is why you tend to kind of pick. You know, I mean, for this video, I'm going to offer just 60k. They probably would accept that anyway, but I'm just going to go to players to exchange. I'm going to go to Grant Ledbetter, and I'm going to, yeah. They've accepted that, of course, but the question is Grant Ledbetter going to go and sign for Swansea? So there is, of course, this guy wants £190 a week. Let's go forwards, and we've not got the stunned message. Usually you get the stunned message straight away. So it looks like they've rejected that bid. That's fine. So it looks like it kind of works either with championship teams. So I guess Grant Ledbetter, if you think about it, at 33, would kind of want to go and sign for Swansea, I guess. He was playing in the championship. So when you think about it like that, it's really weird. But let's see if it actually goes through, because I've not tested this offline. So I'm hoping it goes through, but there's been no stub message yet, so I'm assuming it does. Yeah, let's just wait and see if it comes through. I just think it's a crazy exploit. Like, I've not known an exploit like this for a long time on Football Manager. And yeah, you guys will have to let me know if you agree with this, like, or if you think it's really broken. I mean, don't hate me. I'm just kind of showing you guys, you know, the exploit. And like I say, we did one a few years ago, and it was picked up by SI, and they did patch it fairly quickly. But I just don't know how this has kind of got through, you know? But yeah, let's have a little look. We're just waiting for Grant Ledbetter to sign for Swansea. It's whether Swansea can afford the wages, and it's gone through. So we've just signed Michael Murphy for Sunderland. We've just saved ourselves. You know, yeah, we've paid 60k for him, but he didn't want to leave. And Grant Ledbetter is now playing for Swansea, and we have just saved ourselves £16,000 to go and sign 4 or 5 players in League One and build ourselves for the Championship. So yeah, that is the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do drop a like on the video. No hating on me. I'm just showing you the exploits. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.